Hi, I'm Lisa Rice, native Washingtonian, Ward 7 resident, and I'm the project lead for Grow Democracy DC Civic Education Fund, and I was the proposer of Initiative 83. We are so excited that early voting has begun and DC voters finally get to rank our vote for the very first time. Woo! Just a little bit about how we got here. In January of 2024, DC residents started collecting signatures to put 83 on the ballot. The initiative included both ranked choice voting and letting independents vote in DC's taxpayer-funded primaries. In November of 24, the district overwhelmingly passed Initiative 83. 73% of voters supported Initiative 83 with a supermajority in all 8 wards. Now we're using ranked choice voting for the first time, and early voting starts today. So let's talk a little bit about how to fill out your ballot, and I also want to remind folks about the benefits of ranked choice voting, why we're doing this. In our Initiative 83 campaign, one of our key messages was make politicians work harder for our votes. That's what ranked choice voting promises. With ranked choice voting, candidates need over 50% support to win, which means reaching out to more voters, including voters that may be ranking candidates as a second or third choice. We've seen something brand new this year. Instead of just attacking one another, some candidates are cross-endorsing each other. They're teaming up and asking voters to rank both of them. This is a step toward a better form of politics in the district. And on the topic of majority rule, that's not something we've always had in DC. Dating back to 2012, almost every citywide office and council seat has had at least one candidate win the Democratic primary without a majority. Ranked choice voting ensures a winner with support of the majority, and that is real change. On the Initiative 83 campaign, voters were also excited about how they'd have a stronger voice in ranked choice voting elections. And that's what we're seeing now, especially with so many crowded races. If a voter's first choice can't win, their vote simply counts for a backup choice. Now we're going to move over to this ginormous ballot, and I'm going to try to demonstrate with my tiny marker how we actually do this. We can rank up to 5 candidates. You rank your first, then your backup choices second, third, fourth, and fifth, and we'll practice this with DC sports team. So for my first, I'm going to pick the Mystics. Yay, Mystics.
Women's basketball.
Women's basketball, yay. And you can always use a write-in. I'm going to use my number 2 ranking. Sorry. The Spirit. All right. And they're number 2. 1, 2. Then Commanders is my number 3. Whoa, somebody really likes the Commanders. Yay. And then my 4, I come down here, the Nats. And number 5, the Wizards.
They're going to win one day.
Someday. So that's what your ballot will look like. You can do a write-in, 1 through 5. Just make sure that your first choice is your favorite. So if your first choice loses, my voice still has an impact. It moves to the next choice. So if the Mystics don't end up being so popular, my vote will count for the Spirit. If the Spirit are also eliminated in the ranked choice voting count, my vote will move to the Commanders. I don't have to worry about who's leading the polls or who has the most endorsement or the best campaign signs. I just rank them in my honest order of preference, and I know my vote will count. That's more power for us as voters. And remember, you can rank as many as you like or even just one, but there are no downsides to ranking more than one candidate. Ranking backup choices never hurts your first choice. Your vote always stays with your first choice unless they lose. Again, my vote stays with my number 1, the Mystics, unless they're eliminated. So let's, we're used to ranking things every day. Ranked choice voting is new for us. It's so important that as many voters as possible know about ranked choice voting going into the voting centers and that they feel comfortable asking questions once they're there. As part of our Rank the District project, we're proud to have hosted over 125 voter education events this spring with a focus on reaching voters in wards 1, 5, 7, and 8, as well as many, many senior centers. And we're going to run through this finish line this week, including partnering with the Board of Elections to have ranked the district experts in about 20 polling locations during early voting. We'll also have ranked the district volunteers stationed outside early voting locations, and with the 75 polling stations next Tuesday on primary day to have that one last conversation with voters and make sure they're ready to bank their ballot. I can talk over that. We are so grateful for partners in the effort to educate voters, including the Greater Washington Urban League. That's really close. Oh, because it's right there. Opportunity DC and the League of Women Voters who you'll hear today. And the Board of Elections has been working hard to make this first ranked choice voting election a success for DC. The BOE has conducted over 130 outreach events, including town halls, visits to ANC and ward level party meetings, and ongoing webinar series. Voters should know if you have any questions about ranked choice voting at your voting center, ask the poll workers. I also encourage people to visit rankthedistrict.org for more information. So now, before I turn it over to our wonderful Councilmember Christina Henderson, I want to briefly mention that only one part of Initiative 83 is being implemented this year. I am a registered independent, and even though 73% of DC voters passed Initiative 83, the Council has not yet funded the semi-open primaries component of that initiative, which would allow DC's 85,000 independents like me to vote in our primaries. Ranked choice voting, however, has been funded by the Council, and that's a real step forward. And with that, I'll say DC is ready to rank the vote, and I'll introduce a great champion of election reform, voter education, and residents all over the district, Councilmember Christina Henderson. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa, and thanks to all of you guys for being here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy early vote kick off. It's kind of crazy to believe that we are finally here. For some of you who don't know the full story, I actually introduced a bill on ranked choice voting back in 2021. So this goes to show if you don't succeed, try again. But we're really excited that voters will have an opportunity to do this, especially as DC elections have gotten so much more competitive. We're here in Ward 1, where there's a Ward 1 council race that is extremely competitive. And frankly, I think this is going to be the first year where hopefully voters feel satisfied at the end result that someone is going to be winning the election with at least 51% of the vote, as opposed to 12 or 15% of the vote. When I first was elected, I was elected with 23 other people on the ballot. So that only goes to show how competitive our elections have been. I've been so grateful to Rank the District as well as the DC Board of Elections for all of the voter education work that they have done over the last few months to get people excited and knowledgeable about what this is. The fun thing is that we rank every day in our everyday lives. We make preferences every day in our everyday lives. Now it's just time to do it at the ballot booth. I will say to voters, so Lisa demonstrated here, this is what the ballot would look like if you were voting on your paper ballot. I've done the demo with DC Board of Elections, and I will say to voters, if you are confused by this, go in person. The interface to vote on the machine is actually much cleaner, and it's actually harder to make a mistake. It literally is a column. It says, what is your first choice? Second column, what is your second choice? Third column, what is your third choice? And so on and so forth. I would also just encourage voters, you might have a little fatigue in terms of your ballots are long. There are a lot of people running, a lot of races on the primary. There is also a special election at the very end, so please get to vote in every race. But with that, I'm so excited we're here, and let's get to it.
Let's get voting. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next is Malcolm Fox from Opportunity DC. Come on up.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Malcolm Fox. I'm the Executive Director of Opportunity DC. We believe in supporting policies that make DC a safe, prosperous, and affordable city for everyone. But we know a city is only as strong as our democracy. That's why we are so excited to support Initiative 83 and ranked choice voting to make sure that we have a government that is more reflective and representative of the district voters and residents who live here. A few months ago, we commissioned some polling that found 43% of district voters were not familiar with ranked choice voting and the fact that DC will be using ranked choice voting for the first time this primary cycle. And because of those numbers, we decided to launch Rank Your Vote DC, a 6-figure voter education campaign focused on sharing information about how ranked choice voting works and making sure every voter feels comfortable and familiar using it. You may have seen some of our mailers or our digital ad featuring Ben Ali of Ben's Chili Bowl, ranking his preferences using Ben Chili Bowl's iconic menu. We've had a lot of great conversations with voters who have found that a helpful way to get their head around ranked choice voting and using it for the first time. So we encourage everyone to make their plan to vote. There are resources available with the Board of Elections or at polling places if people have questions. And to Lisa's earlier point, this is only one half of Initiative 83. Voters overwhelmingly approved this ballot initiative with 73% of the vote. And so I want to thank Councilmember Henderson for being such a champion on this issue, introducing an amendment last year to also include open primaries so that independents can vote in Democratic primaries. And we would encourage the council to implement and fund the second half of Initiative 83 to make sure the will of the voters is respected in this upcoming election cycle. So thanks everyone for coming out. Excited to get ranking.
Yes.
And yeah, thanks
Let's
everyone.
do
for being here.
it. All right. Thank you, Malcolm. Next up, Kendra Oates.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kendra Oates, and I'm the director of the Center for Financial Inclusion at the Greater Washington Urban League. The Greater Washington Urban League has been a safety net for the residents of the district for the past 87 years, and what we do is empower communities and change lives. And when we think about empowering communities, voting is at the top of the list. And they're at a time where our votes are being muted and diluted. Now is the time to be voting. It is more important than ever, and every single vote counts. Ranked choice voting gives voters more choice and more voice, and we really encourage and urge every single resident who is eligible to vote in these primaries to get out to the polls. Our Thursday Network, Young Professionals Auxiliary, and our guilds have been doing numerous voter education events throughout the district over the past few months to really get the word out and educate our young professionals as well as our seniors and our community at large about how ranked choice voting works. And so at the end of the day, our voters have more voice, our voters have more choice, and every single vote counts. So make sure that you get out to the polls, you bring a friend, you bring your family, and you go through the entire ballot, because this is where your voice matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kendra. And Stauffer from the League of Women Voters of DC, come on up.
Thanks. Good morning, all. I'm, as Lisa said, Ann Stauffer. I'm with the DC League of Women Voters, and we have supported ranked choice voting since 2015. We made it part of our platform. We supported it when it was in the council, and we were so strong supporters of I-83. And so we've been out in the community with partners, educating people on ranked choice voting, and it's been actually a lot of fun. It's been really fun to engage with people as they learn this new system that they actually overwhelmingly voted for and had a chance to do. And as Kendra said, it gives people more voice and choice. People, of course, have questions because it's new, but we can do this. We can learn things. They then get excited because of the competitive elections and having more say in who gets elected. And they really like that candidates will have to win with 50% or more of the vote. At the League, we like to say that your vote is your power. So we encourage everyone to use their power and go out and vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Ann. Last but not least, Carlo DePreda Castro, and I know I butchered the name. So, yes. Thank you, Carlos.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carlos de Castro Pitel. I am the chair for the Forward Party's Hispanic and Latino Committee. Thank you for granting me the opportunity to express my views on this historic and unique opportunity being afforded to DC voters. Ranked choice voting is one of the most tested and proven ways of decreasing the negative incentives that are currently threatening our democracy. Ranked choice voting empowers voters by giving them multiple choices to choose from, instead of just having to choose between the lesser of two evils. Ranked choice voting makes them fight for our vote. This election is of particular importance to the Hispanic and Latino community in DC because something is being offered to them that's normally not afforded. I ran for office last year in Arlington County, right across the river. And I remember how often people from the Hispanic and Latino community would come over to me, shake my hand, and say they were full of pride and happy to see some representation running for the board. But unfortunately, they couldn't vote for me because they were not citizens. That's not the case in DC. By virtue of being a resident, you are legally allowed to vote in local elections. That is a unique and precious thing. So I encourage you to get out and vote. Take advantage of this great opportunity. Check out all the different candidates out there. Get your friends and family involved and vote. Democracy requires your participation. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll open it up for a couple of questions. Anyone? Or no questions? No? Are we done? Well, thank you, everyone, for coming today. And if you have any questions for anyone who spoke, please let them know. My name is Lisa Rice. And again, if you have a chance to go online, rankthedistrict.org, we'll have instructions for how to rank your vote. Thank you.